I taught myself SEO in my parents' spare bedroom. It took me 15 years to fix these 5 huge mistakes that destroy organic traffic of e-commerce stores and other websites. When my brother Matt was looking for work, he knew nothing about SEO. So I wanted to see how fast he could become world-class if he avoided these 5 huge mistakes. So I hired him at our Shopify marketing agency. In 6 months, he is growing stores by himself, which took me 15 years. The first mistake cost me $50,000 and 3 years of my life. When I was 19, I studied e-commerce and marketing at the University of Queensland. This was 20 years ago, so it was special I was able to focus on marketing and e-commerce before Shopify was even created. I learned about title tags, descriptions, and links, but I could have learned this in 10 minutes from an online article. I spent 3 years of my life and $50,000 for a bachelor's degree. Once I completed it, I was no better at SEO or other e-commerce marketing. I was $50,000 in debt and spent 3 years for nothing. I'm not trash talking tertiary studies. Oh wait, no, I am. It's an awful way to acquire business skills. I didn't know how to allocate my time or money to improve marketing skills.
To effectively learn, you must acquire the right knowledge, then execute it. Without the action, you actually haven't learned anything.
Most self-taught SEOs either acquire ineffective knowledge or don't take enough action. You might spend hours consuming SEO blogs, videos, and courses thinking you're learning, but without actually applying any of it, you're accomplishing nothing. Matt learned that early on.
I didn't begin with an online course. I read an overview of what SEO is to give me a framework. Then Josh gave me tasks to do. I began the task, then learned how to do it at the same time. Our agency had systems in place that made my ability to learn, then do, super fast.
There's a big difference here. You will never learn how to get a backlink from digital public relations until you get that backlink. You can have the best mentor or do the best SEO course, but your learning won't equate to anything useful until you do. It's only when you learn and take action at the same time does your learning go deep. I suggest you live in a rhythm of learn and then do, learn and do, learn and do. You never want to read loads of articles and complete online courses without immediately applying what you learn. By following this plan, you avoid the mistake of consuming, never producing. This guarantees your skills quickly develop. Now let's talk about the second mistake. The first website ever made was called earthlingcommunication.com. This was a website on self-help and communication skills. It was born out of my suffering. When I was 18, I remember my mum at dinner time asking me to phone Domino's to order pizza for our family. I shivered and told her no, then walked away. I didn't do what mum asked because I was scared of picking up the phone. I was too darn scared to speak to a young kid to order pizza. I suffered from social anxiety and it was debilitating. This website I made was a way for me to fix my problems. My SEO and growth strategy had me publish articles from an old article directory called designarticles.com. I could publish other people's articles as long as I gave them their required attribution. I also reached out to other authors to republish their work when I read their advice that helped me. By using keyword-rich titles, good meta descriptions, and something called meta keywords, which was good back then, I got huge traffic. In 2 years, I grew the website to 1 million visitors in a year. People around the world, even from large institutions, emailed me saying how their lives were changed with my content. There were 2 huge lessons for me in this that shaped how I did SEO for the rest of my life. Even with this success, I would have earned more money working a full-time job. That's right, in the eyes of SEO marketers, I had achieved SEO success with 1 million visitors, but I didn't convert that traffic into good money.
Traffic means nothing. It's a vanity metric. Even revenue means nothing.
At the end of the day, business is about growing the gap between what you pay for a customer and how much you make over the customer's lifetime. Everything you do in marketing should influence these 2 metrics. One example of this lesson is that optimizing for informational keywords like how-to searches where people are searching for information can be a mistake. It's likely to result in high traffic and low revenue, unless you have a plan to profit. You can improve the value of information or keywords in e-commerce SEO by promoting products inside content. You can also use a strategy I call subscriber seeds, where you have an opt-in on blog posts where people can enter their email to get an exclusive bonus, some complimentary gift. This builds your email list to get people buying later on. The other mistake I made with the first website was not scaling. You see, so much of marketing is arbitrage, where you are looking for gaps, then making something more efficient. I found a way to attract people, but I didn't maximize what I was doing. I published like 2 articles a month instead of scaling my SEO efforts across more keywords, more pages, and more topics. That's where the 4th level of scale in marketing comes in. Scale itself. There are 4 levels to scale marketing: strategy, stage, style, and scale. Strategy is the overall approach, like using content, paid ads, or referrals. Stage is where you perform that strategy. Picture yourself standing on a stage, like posting on social media or your website. Style is the format you use, like articles or videos, images. In scale, you do more of what works. If I'd scale my initial SEO success by increasing my article count, targeting more search terms, publishing more frequently, even making other websites, I would have expanded my reach and multiplied my results. So many self-taught SEOs try this here, try this other thing over here. There is time for experimentation, but the key is knowing when to focus on a single thing.
When you have SEO success, you got to focus and double down. Warren Buffett has a quote I love: "Diversification is protection against ignorance."
When should you do more of something, and when should you focus on doing better? The answer comes down to returns. If the effort to do more produces a greater return than improving the existing work, then double down is your answer. But if optimizing the work you're already doing brings a higher return, it's time to focus on better. In that early stage, doing more would have yielded a greater jump, but at some point when I'm ranking well for a lot of keywords, I might reach a point where doing better, like refining existing articles or enhancing conversion elements, brings a better return on effort. The key is knowing where you are in your growth curve. When you're just starting to see success, doing more often gets you further, faster. As you start to saturate the initial wins, focusing on better helps you capture that upper end of what's possible. The trick is not to switch too soon or too late. The next big mistake self-taught SEOs make comes from merely wanting to get the job done. You've got things that have to be done, which makes this mistake all the more dangerous at limiting the growth you can achieve for your business or online stores. When I began doing SEO for Shopify stores, I had a client whose name I searched in Google to judge competition. In search results, I saw a page on their domain named /collections/front page. I thought it was an unusual name for the collection that I didn't know about in the store, so I checked it out. Viewing the page, it was a weird collection of a few products. Based on the name, I thought I'd better check the homepage. Looking at the homepage, I saw the same products were displayed. The collection was made to show certain products on the homepage. I investigated this further. I didn't just move on to get the job done. At the time, I found the only way to reliably get a collection of products in Shopify showing on the homepage was to create a unique collection. However, having an extra page appear early in search results that's made purely for another purpose isn't good for SEO. This led to the next question: is there a way to hide the collection? I couldn't hide it, so I wondered if I could hide it from search engines. As a result, I was one of the first people in 2016 to discover that you can use a meta field in Shopify to no-index a piece of content. This has the added benefit of removing the page. In my case, the front page collection from the sitemap.
Whenever I didn't know or understand something, I could spend a few minutes searching Google. That's pretty funny. For this solution, even chatting with AI, ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever is your favorite go-to AI personal talk bot. I also had the resource of Josh, so I could tag him in Asana. That was the ultimate fallback, because if I couldn't figure out myself, I could just ask.
When you're working on the SEO of your Shopify store, you will encounter things you don't know the answer to. The mistake people make is not going to the right resources. Jumping on Reddit or a Facebook group is playing with fire. Anyone with any experience can comment, and they do with such confidence, no matter how wrong or limited their perspective is. This leads me to the final and biggest mistake self-taught SEOs make. I learned this mistake 7 years ago when I hired my first SEO manager to work at Digital Darts. Most marketers and store owners who do SEO are self-taught. This makes it extremely dangerous for you to do the wrong things or do what's unimportant. You see, you can be the most curious, hungriest marketer, but if you do the wrong things, or even do the wrong things right, you're ineffective. How then do you differentiate between what's right and what's important? I estimate there's 500 tasks you can do to work on your SEO. Some of these tasks won't ever help a store grow. Then there's other tasks like domain cannibalization. This has you consolidate variations of a domain, like the non-www version, the www version, and the HTTP versions to a single version. Domain cannibalization has a huge impact on the SEO traffic of a store. You need a clear map with what you should do, why you should do it, and how to do it. It's only then that you can work on what's most important in the right way. We accomplish this at Digital Darts with processes.
The moment a new Shopify SEO client begins, I can follow these steps to onboard them. Set them up on their SEO work, run backlink building campaigns, and do everything else. Everything is there in steps. When I'm in the zone, it gets to the point where I can switch my brain off while my body does the rest.
Matt has intentions to get good results and make clients happy, but the road to hell is paved with good intentions. It's the systems that will save you from the poverty of your intentions. In every task, our tasks are named based on what needs to be done. Inside, there's the why, that explains why it's being done. Then there's the how, and a simple number checklist of how it's to be done. To have a full SEO system for Shopify stores took us huge amounts of work. We also update it every week. This is the fastest way to get results. When Kobe Bryant woke up, he didn't guess what he needed to do to win an NBA championship that year. He had systems to follow. Matt, how have you found it working at Digital Darts with the SEO system we've had in place?
Yeah, good.
Chances are, as a beginner, you won't have much of a system. So identify something that is business critical, which contributes to growth. Then the next time you do it, log why you're doing it and the exact steps you take to do it. Over time, you will find a better way to do something. It's then that you can update your system to become an even better marketer. Iteration on iteration, task by task, you'll become a master. There are a lot of tactical mistakes people make in SEO, like a slow website. So I've gathered the most common 11 mistakes that destroy your website traffic. You can watch this video to discover what they are and how to fix them so your store gets more sales.